Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for my second episode of Cannabis in Movies. Today's movie I'm going to review today is called Kid Cannabis. It came out in 2014, last year, and I decided I'd give it a whirl and see what I thought of it. Well, yeah, I watched it from start to finish. It was almost a sleeper, I almost fell asleep in it. I'm not going to go into describing the beginning, middle, and end because I think that's kind of irrelevant in this movie because it's so random. So anyway, Kid Cannabis is this young adult who's a teenage dropout. He takes care of his little brother, makes him breakfast. He works at a pizza place, making minimum wage. His mom works really hard and they're struggling. So he lives in Ohio. Let's see, what can we say about him, more about him? We'll just get to the chase. This is what happens. You see his situation. He's poor. He's struggling. So he's looking through a magazine, a cannabis-related magazine. Then, aha, the opportunity arises in his mind that, hey, maybe I can make money selling it. So him and a friend get together. They coordinate to go to Canada. His friend, he drops his friend out so that his friend can sneak out and get the cannabis and transport it back to Ohio. They meet up with this eventually this is way down the line, they meet up with this guy in Canada who happens to grow it. They met the guy through this young teen girl, or not teen, I guess she's a young adult, who was working at a gas station. It's so random, okay? And so then they go and meet the family. The dad is just super obsessive about his strains of cannabis, and he has this whole grow room and everything, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, see what I'm saying? It's like already so all over the place. So, where should I go with this anyway? I mean, this movie is just more than 2 thumbs down if I could do that. So anyway, eventually he ends up talking to some big guy that he can sell the cannabis to, and he meets up with the guy in a strip club, and the guy happens to be Ron Perlman, of all people. Excuse me. And, it's just weird. And then you see all of this useless, you know, clips of nudity here and there. So cut the long story, very long story short, he ends up making it, him and his crew, he gets a crew of people to help him. He ends up making quite a bit of money, and he was able to buy a house for his mom and his brother. So they move into the house, and his mom, by the way, I didn't mention it, she seems to be not at all bothered by the fact that he uses cannabis. So that's one plus about this movie, okay? Had to put that in there. So anyway, back to the house that they bought. He bought this house for them. And so he had this huge party. His mom and his little brother are still there. And it's just a wild party. I mean, it's all these young adults. Sometimes you don't know the age between teen and young adult in this movie. You can't really tell. People running around with no clothes on. People having sex. Orgies. Kid Cannabis having an orgy. It's just, to me, it's just sick, okay? It's just ridiculous. Because this is not, yet again, another Hollywood portrayal of what happens when people use cannabis or like cannabis or find it useful and incorporate it into their lives. This is just like some sort of tragedy story to me that is supposedly supposed to have some comedic accents in there, but the comedy really isn't that funny because I can't really relate to it. It just seems very contrived humor. Anyway, so Kid Cannabis, he ends up, let me cut to the chase, to the end. Kid Cannabis ends up getting caught. He tries to escape, and then he decides he wants to come back and confess. He talks to his mom on the phone, and his mom is just like, come on back. I mean, stay there. And she's saying, stay there, don't come back. So it's just cannabis. So this was very unusual to me because it's like Hollywood's trying to like say, yes, people use cannabis, and sometimes their parents approve of it. But what I didn't like about this movie is that it just showed this reckless abandonment, and people that he hired to work with him to transport the cannabis, the product and everything, they were always hostile and angry, and they're always fighting. And that doesn't really represent to me the effects of what cannabis does to a person. This just represents to me someone who's drank a lot of alcoholic beverages and is just yelling and is angry. So I mean, that was just really stereotypical. I mean, it's almost a little bit Reefer Madness like, but not, I mean, in that sense, in my opinion. So it's just like, it was so much stuff going on. I mean, at the end of the movie, he ends up serving like getting 12 years in prison. And by the way, let me let you know that they mentioned in the beginning of the movie that it's based on a true story. And like, okay, whose story is this? Okay? I mean, I don't know who this person is. Do they really exist? I mean, based on a true story. So yeah, it's just, these kind of movies I think are useless and dumb. You know, it's like it just sets forth all these stereotypes. All through the movie, there's gangster rap playing, and just the nastiest of nasty gangster rap, like just really sexual and vile, and you know, and I see how that is portrayed, you know, out in Hollywood with this, don't want to say drug, with cannabis, with this medicinal herb that people use to help them throughout their daily lives. It's trivialized when you make movies like this. You know, the main character, Kid Cannabis, you want to feel for him because you see how much he's struggling, that he's living in poor family and working minimum wage job. You know, a lot of people can relate to that. And then there's this, he gets wealthy all of a sudden, and he's just crazy, just spending money on everything, and him and his buddies are arguing, and it's just crazy, you know, and that's not accurate of what happens when someone incorporates cannabis into their life. You know, just talk to somebody who uses it every day as a medicine. Talk to them. Do they have lifestyles like these people? Do they end up in these kind of situations? No, they don't. You know, it's time they stop making these stupid ass movies. Seriously. I mean, I wanted to like this movie because I saw how, like, in the beginning of the movie, he was laying down in his bed, and his mom comes into the room, and they show he has a bong, a glass bong on his nightstand or whatever. And I was waiting for the response from the mom, you know. But it was really just chill, just totally relaxed, like whatever, it's there. So that was a bonus because, you know, there are young adults and teens that do benefit from medicinal cannabis. They can use it for bipolar disorder. They can use it for manic depression. If you talk to a physician, you know, you can find out what exactly your condition is and find out. But anyway, that's more research that you can do yourself if that's what's going on with you. So I wanted to bring up that aspect in there, that there are parents that are accepting and realize that a lot of the prescription drugs that are out there to help soothe these conditions can become very addictive, and they can become very detrimental to your health as well. So anyway, yeah, this movie, in short, this movie just, it left me feeling like, it's just like pessimistic. So, I mean, it just seems like they just want to send out this message to you, just don't do it, just stay away from it completely. And not everyone, and concentrate on the positive, you know what I mean, the positive aspects of it, and always generating this negative image of it. So that's what I thought about Kid Cannabis, guys. I mean, I just thought, wow, this is not the portrayal that should be out there, because so many people do watch movies, Hollywood movies, you know, or made for Netflix movies or whatever. People watch these movies and they really take in this information and they feel that it is real, and it's not real. So yeah, that's what I want to leave. That's the message I want to leave with you guys today. When you're watching a movie, really figure out if this is really real, if this is accurate to what really goes on in real life. You know what I mean? Because these are little tidbits of things that could happen in the world, but most likely are not. Okay, and that's my opinion, okay? And I just want people to know that it's time we stop demonizing things that aren't, you know, negative in any way, shape, or form. It's time that truth is brought forth and not hidden. Because when truth is hidden, then we all stay ignorant and we stay stuck and we don't expand our minds and understand more of why people do what they do. Alright, thank you for joining me for episode 2 of Cannabis and Movies. I really appreciate you coming by to see my take on like movie reviews. I've always wanted to do it, so it was really fun. And so next movie that I'm going to review, it's not really a movie, I guess you can call it a movie / documentary. It's called Super High Me by Doug Benson, and I'll give you my views on that one. Until then, please do subscribe, like, and share with anybody you think that could find this helpful and useful. And thank you for watching. Bye.